Dick Durbin describing what he heard the president say in the Oval Office. California Democratic Congresswoman Barbara Lee is former chair of the Congressional Black Caucus and joins me now. Congresswoman, thanks very much for being with us. Tell me your immediate reaction and what you and Cedric Richmond and other members of the Black Caucus are saying to each other.
My immediate reaction, it was just one of anger and sadness. And first of all, today, Andrea, of course, is the 8th anniversary of the devastating earthquake in Haiti. We're leading into the anniversary of Dr. King's birthday to honor his life and his legacy. And here we have a president who has once again said racist and despicable words about African Americans, people of color, and countries that really have helped build their descendants and current residents have helped build America to its greatness. What he has said, of course, is that you're only welcomed in America if you're white. Otherwise, you're not welcomed here in this country. And I fully believe that what Congressional Black Caucus Chairman Cedric Richmond said was very correct. It was exactly what needed to be said when he noted that when President Trump says make America great again, he really means make America white again. And that's exactly what we see once again. This is really who he is. This has been a pattern, and this should not shock anybody, but it does in many ways, because I think Congressman Luis Gutierrez said it so eloquently. We can't be so insensitive that we don't feel the pain of this moment.
Indeed. I just wanted to point out that to all of the explanations, if you will, from the White House today, that the president really was talking about Africa when he used language, S-hole or whatever, that it was not about Haiti. So therefore you're describing an entire continent of countries in Africa. And I just wanted to, I mean, people are pointing, I know Bill Kristol tweeted out the example of a Bronx fireman, a hero, a U.S. Army National Guard Private Emmanuel Mensah. He's 28 years old. He's a native of Ghana. He immigrated to the Bronx 5 years ago. He repeatedly raced into a burning New York City apartment building, saving 4 people before he died in the flames during that terrible fire. So, you know, we don't even have, there's no way to mention all of the millions and millions of Americans from all of these countries that have been so denigrated by the president.
African American ancestors, our ancestors, my ancestors, come from the continent of Africa. Haitian ancestors, ancestors of the Americas, come from the continent of Africa. And so however he said that, it was an insult, it's despicable, and you know what, Andrea, it really reflects the fact that this agenda is part of the alt-right Steve Bannon agenda, which has as its core white supremacy. And we know that, and this is once again an unfortunate, terrible, sad, and hateful example of what this president is doing in terms of not only his attitudes and his ideology, but what he is doing in terms of his policy and how this is reflected in his legislative priorities and the policies that are emanating from the White House. Speaker Ryan and the Republicans need to step up, and they need to not only condemn this president for what he said, but they need to do something, and they need to do something in terms of making sure that they put him in check, because we cannot allow a president in the United States to really continue with this ideology that is reflected in his policies by making America white again, because that is exactly what he is trying to do.
And as we are speaking, Congresswoman, we're seeing the president get into the Suburban. He's motoring because of heavy fog to Walter Reed, to Bethesda Naval for his first physical as President of the United States. This is something we'll be talking about a little bit later, but he's heading up there for his physical exam and then on to Florida, where he will perhaps be greeted by a lot of people, including a lot of Haitians who live down there, including a lot who work at Mar-a-Lago, where he'll be spending the weekend. Barbara Lee, thank you very much for joining us from Oakland today.
My pleasure.
We really appreciate it.